Well, we're going to wait here just a few minutes before we get started with our guests that we have today, just so that our participants can get online and get logged in. So hang tight. Hi, everybody. Welcome. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Okay, well, we still have quite a few people that are signed up to get on, so we're going to go ahead and get started just for the sake of our guest time. First, I would like to say thank you and welcome to Chamber University with the Lime Island County Chamber of Commerce. We have a special guest with us here today. We are going to be hearing from Deanna, and I believe it's Hinsz, correct?
It's actually Hinsz, but everybody says
Hinsz. Well,
Hinsz.
thank you,
Yes,
and I
everyone
apologize
says it that way.
for the mispronunciation, but we're excited to have Deanna here today. She is the founder of CarbonSilk Digital Marketing and Consulting, and she's going to talk to us today about how to turn your email subscribers into customers. She is a certified consultant with Constant Contact, which is also a partner of ours as well. But just so you know a little bit more about Deanna, she's a digital marketing strategist and entrepreneur with over 10 years of branding experience. She started and launched her first entrepreneurial business back in 2010, and she quickly gained national recognition and was awarded Top Moms in Business by Startup Nation and the Discover Card. Awesome awards. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And since then, she has created CarbonSilk, a boutique of digital marketing agency, and the president of her Toastmasters Club. She's a national speaker, and she works with small business development centers to teach others how to create successful digital marketing strategy and grow their business. So thank you for being here, Deanna. We're excited to have you and can't wait to learn more. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. The session is recorded, and I will be in the background watching the chat box, and the show is yours. So welcome.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the introduction. I'm excited to be here. I am going to share my screen so everybody can see my presentation. All right. Oops. Keeps jumping ahead. We're going to be talking about email marketing, turning your subscribers into customers. Now, hopefully everybody is utilizing their email right now, but if not, you're going to learn how to do that. Here's what you can expect over the next 30 minutes. We're going to be talking about how to build your subscriber list, and then I'm going to share the 7 steps to turn subscribers into customers, which is what you're here for. Little bit about me, aside from the introduction, I am Deanna Hinsz. I'm a digital marketing strategist and a consultant. I'm the owner of CarbonSilk and also a certified partner with Constant Contact. Now, the very first thing, I love this quote: the best marketing doesn't feel like marketing. And there's so much truth behind that, because let's face it, we are all getting bombarded by ads and marketing everywhere we turn, not only on our feeds, on our Facebook, and our social media, on our phone, they're now popping into our email. So if you are a small business owner or you're in charge of marketing for the company, you want to make sure that when you are marketing, it doesn't really feel like marketing, which is why I love email. Email is exactly like that. Now, the very first step in building your list and diving into email marketing, even branding, any type of marketing, is, and this is the biggest mistake that I see people making, is you need to know who your ideal customer is. Now, when I say that, you might be thinking, I know who my ideal customer is. It is a man or a woman, and this is the age group. Well, that's a great place to start, but I'm talking a little bit more. What I'm talking about is really knowing who your ideal client is. What are they about? I want you to dive deeper and really niche down on who you're talking to, because that's really important in your marketing, because throughout all of your marketing pieces, including your email, you're going to be speaking to that one customer. So some questions to kind of figure out who is my ideal customer that you can ask is, first off, what's their biggest pain point? We have to know what their biggest pain point is, because guess what? You have the solution. Now, I do have a tip when you're finding out what their pain point is. There's a few ways to do this, but write down their own words to know what their pain points are, because you can use their words back in your marketing. It's a huge time saver, and you're speaking directly to them. So they're going to hear it and they're going to be drawn to your business. Another question you want to find out to learn your ideal customers, who and what inspires them? You know, what books do they read? These are just some basic things, right? Where do they hang out online? That's really important. Which social media platform are they on? What do they look like? Are they married? Are they single? Where do they spend their free time? All of these questions will help you really identify who that ideal client is. Let me go back really so everybody can see the questions. It's going to help you identify who that ideal client is, because again, that's who you're going to be speaking to in all of your email messages, is this one particular person. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, hold on, Deanna, I have a product or I offer a service that can help anybody. Okay, I hear you, but you really don't want to talk to everybody. What happens when you start talking to everybody is that your message gets watered down. I'm going to share an example with you. I have a client who owns a coffee shop, and when I was meeting with them and consulting with them in the beginning, and we were working on their ideal client, her comment to me was, okay, Deanna, listen, I sell coffee. Anybody can buy coffee. And I agreed with her. Anybody can buy coffee. But who walks into their shop? Who is she targeting? Is she targeting the person who goes to McDonald's to get a cup of coffee and hang out? Or how about the person who is at Panera? Is she targeting a college student, right? There was a certain feel about her coffee shop. She was in a downtown location. There were a lot of young professionals there who would come in and always order a fancy drink. And the marketing and the verbiage that she would use to that customer looked completely different than the person who was going to McDonald's to get their coffee and free refill and hang out the majority of the morning. So it is really important to identify who you're talking to and narrow it down. Don't be afraid to leave money on the table by doing that. Now, after you do that, the next thing you want to think about, once you know their pain point and who you're talking to, is you want to know, what can you give them? What can you give them? Email marketing is kind of a trade-off, and this is a way to start accumulating those email addresses, is to offer a freebie. And I'm sure we've all fell victim of this one way or another. We may have visited a website that offered us a free downloadable, or if you're like me and you like to shop online, as soon as you go to the website, there's a pop-up that says, if you give us your email address, you'll get 10% or 20% off of your first purchase. And I'm usually a sucker for that, and we'll sign up, and they've got my email address, and now I have that coupon, and that can be a freebie. More times than not, people in a product-based industry will think of a discount. It doesn't always have to be a discount. It can be a video how-to, it can be a downloadable or something that they can use. For example, if you sell scarves, maybe the freebie is, 20 different ways to wear that scarf in exchange for that email address. So you can really get creative. Some other ways to capture those emails is to post that freebie on social media. Let people know that you have something for them that they're able to get for free as long as they just sign up. You can create a blog post about it, put a pop-up up on your website, which is pretty popular. I think we've seen those all a million times. Or you can promote it in a Facebook group if the Facebook group allows you to do that. Some Facebook groups have different rules and they don't want you to market your business to the other members, and that's okay. So be respectful of whatever those rules are. But those are a few different ways, just a few. There's so many other more ways to start to accumulate those email addresses. So now that you have those email addresses, how do you turn them into subscribers? So here are 7 different steps of what you need to do. The very first thing is a welcome email. Now, the big question is to automate or not automate. And I say automate every opportunity that you get. Make sure that your email is all automated. If somebody signs up on your website for that freebie that you're going to offer them, make sure that that welcome email is automated. 2 reasons. One is, who wants to get up in the middle of the night to respond to a new subscriber? And 2, we're all pretty impatient. So if we don't get something immediately back from a website that we just subscribed to, we think that something's wrong. Maybe it didn't work, it didn't go through. So make sure if somebody does go onto your website and they sign up to be a subscriber, that you give them that welcome email and whatever they asked for immediately. And you can do this all in automation in Constant Contact. Now, one unique little tip is, I think a video introduction is pretty cool. I have it in my email, my welcome email, my very first one. The reason that I like it is because people get to know me. They get to hear my voice, my mannerisms. I use my hands a lot, as you're going to see. So they get to know me on a more personal level. Now, depending on what brand you're representing, this may or may not make sense to do it yourself, a short little video clip. But you may want to show a video of your products. But video is really big right now. And if you are the face of your business, I say go for it. Put a video introduction in that welcome email. You also want to include in that very first welcome email some social proof. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes, but social proof is just basically the testimonials. It's proof that other people like what you've served or what your service is or what your product is, and they stand behind you. You also want to automate your email on a purchase journey. So if you are a product-based business, if somebody purchases your product, you want to make sure that those emails are automated and send them out. Now, a lot of times, whatever e-commerce platform that you are utilizing will incorporate some of this. If you don't have an e-commerce, if you're doing it just strictly through Constant Contact, you do want to make sure that it's this automated purchase journey is completed. And it just isn't, we've received your order or we've shipped your order. It continues on. How about giving us a review? How was the service? Did you like it? How was the delivery? How do you like the product? Here's a place where you can review us. Make sure in that automated, that very first welcome email too, that you leverage evergreen content. Now, evergreen content is content that doesn't change. For example, we all know social media changes daily, something changes. So chances are good I'm not going to put in there in my welcome email anything that I know can change that quickly. But what I can do is possibly give you marketing tips, anything that can stand the test of time so that I'm not always going back and updating my welcome email. You want to use real time and keep it personal. So don't talk about the past or because you're writing it in the past. Speak about it as it's happening right now and provide information and content and value in the current time. And of course, keep it personal. And again, we're going to talk about that. The second thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you segment your list. Now, the purpose of all of this is because this is a way for you to speak to your subscribers in a personal way. One example of segmenting it is if I had everybody's email list that is currently online and in this group, you would probably get an email from me talking about today's session. You may also get another one from me down the road where maybe I'm targeting all Ohio people or Northern people, or maybe just business owners. So you can segment in a lot of different ways. If somebody attended a class of yours, you can put them all into that one segment. You're going to speak to them a little bit differently than maybe you're going to speak to somebody who is still a prospect, who has signed up but has never attended a workshop, who's not become a client. So you segment your list in order to be able to speak to them differently and make it very personal. You want to personalize their journey, and this is number 3. By using, first off, their first name. We love hearing our first name. There are studies done to say that when you say somebody's first name to them, they like you a little bit more because we love hearing our name. Incorporate that into your email. Use their name either in the subject line or in the body. It doesn't have to be just in the very first sentence. You can put it anywhere in the email. Of course, make sure that it makes sense and speak to them. You also, of course, like we just said, using segments. This is another way to personalize that journey so that you can speak to them exactly how, wherever you met them. You can use a browsing history, and we've seen this. If you've ever gone to a website, visited the website, and all of a sudden you got an email from that company, maybe this happens a lot with shopping. If you're shopping and not just the empty cart, but just looking at a certain product line, shortly after you get an email, if you didn't purchase, that says, hey, did you see this new product line, which is exactly what you were looking at. There are techniques put in place. That was not magic. They know, they're following your IP address, and they can send you an email. You can send your ideal client an email as well, targeting them and encouraging them to purchase from you. These are called triggered emails. There's a variety of ways to do triggered emails. There is software available where you can actually, it's like a ranking system where the buyer's journey gets points. And if they reach so many points or visit so many different points on your website, then an email will be triggered so that you can, obviously, your call to action is to make the purchase. If you are sending emails, keep it a real email address. Using no reply at and your URL is very impersonal. Again, email is a way to really nurture relationships. So if you are your own personal brand, you want to make sure to use your first name in an email, or whatever. Hello at is very popular as well. Make it personal. No reply at is very cold, so you don't want to do that. You can also incorporate their birthdays or anniversaries, important dates, maybe their annual, their first year of doing business with you, send them a thank you. And these are all different ways that you can personalize that. And of course, using personalized email content. Again, and then you can utilize this with segments, for example. If you were all on my list, I would be talking to you about emails, probably for the next couple weeks, and dripping content to you about email marketing and the importance of email marketing. So those are some of the things. The fourth step is to solve your customer's problem. So of course, we said in the beginning of knowing your customer and your ideal client, we know what their problem is. And it's so important to talk to them. One thing I do, like I mentioned earlier, is I'll go into Facebook groups, or I'll actually pull my ideal client and I will just look to see what are their pain points. And I'll read the words that they said. And I really do have this full spreadsheet of everything that they said. And I repurpose that and use it in my marketing to say it right back to them. The next thing is number 5. If you're familiar with Swell or any product, a lot of times you're going to see that what we do typically when it's our own business, not what Swell does, but what we do is we talk about, if we're talking about a product, right? We might talk about all of the features of that product. Well, that's great. We know our products, we know the value that those features have. But what's more important is to talk about the benefits. That's what the customer wants. They don't really care that it is triple walled vacuum insulated construction. I mean, they do because they know it'll keep your beverages cold for up to 24 hours or hot up to 12, but that's what's important to them. And a lot of times we get so into our business that we talk about those features instead of the benefits. So when you're writing email content, you want to make sure that you're talking about those benefits, which are the solutions to their pain points, because you are already aware of that. The sixth piece is social proof. This is so important. This is whether it's on your website or in your email, right? And what social proof is testimonials, because studies have shown that when somebody else likes something, if we're viewing something, right, and somebody gives a testimonial about it, or we know other people in a group have already tried it and it's worked for them, then we're more likely to try it. So don't be afraid to incorporate that, again, on your website in a lot of different ways. And I know we're not talking about website, but also in those emails, incorporate those testimonials and social proof in those emails, just to give reassurance that you have a great product or you have a great service to offer. Let people know. Some types of social proof include McDonald's, right? Over 19 billion served. Or we're all very familiar with Google reviews. People are going to Google and Facebook to read the reviews and find out who they should do business with if they don't know. It's a type of referral. The first and most popular way, of course, is just asking somebody we know. Referrals will always be the #1 source of business, or a way for people to grow their business. But here we've got Google, we've got Yelp, we've got all these different channels now that we can leave reviews on and encourage your customers to leave reviews for you. Over here, this one, from 0 to 330 million, that's social proof. Look at how many people have used their product and it's worked, right? Or you can get a celebrity. Now, you may not be able to hire Taylor Swift to do your ads, but I'm sure that you've got people in your community who are just, small influencers, local influencers that you can incorporate, people who are part of your news, or people that a lot of everybody knows. You can incorporate them to help promote your products. And I mentioned this already, there's Yelp, right? Yelp is very popular. The seventh way, you want to make sure that you track your email marketing. This is always, tracking the data is always forgotten. People will create content and put it out there, and then they forget to track their email or their marketing to see how it's performing. And you want to make sure that you do that, because this is how you will know what your audience wants to hear, what they want to hear. Are you providing it? What are they clicking on? All of your emails should have some sort of call to action. That call to action doesn't have to always be buy from me, or, or sign up. The call to actions can be, download this, offer them another freebie. It could be follow on Instagram or follow your YouTube channel. Or it could be just taking a poll on your email to find out more about what they want. But once you do that, don't leave that information there. Look at it, see how many people are opening it, see how many people are clicking on the links. And I need to say this, when you are looking at your open rate, I had a client say to me, Deanna, email doesn't work. I looked at my open rate and nobody opens it. Now, I asked her what her open rate was, and she shared with me 50% open rate. Let me tell you, 50% open rate on email is huge. Every industry is a little bit different, but a general rule of thumb, regardless of the industry that you're in, if you have a 30% open rate, that's great. Don't beat yourself up. That's really good. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, wait a minute, 30%. If I was in school, that would be a failing grade. 30% is not good at all. This is a waste of time. My answer to that is no, it's not. 30% is great. And even if they are not opening your email when you send it, they're still seeing your name pop up in their inbox. Every touch is important, whether they see you on social media, if they see your business name pop up in their email list, if you are sending them a direct mailer, if you have a billboard, all of those different things are different touches, and your ideal target is seeing that. and they are learning more about you, and they're feeling like they get to know you, but they don't realize it. So you are still marketing to them without directly marketing to them. And it's very inexpensive to use email marketing. So you want to make sure that you track it. You want to make sure you pay attention to those numbers. And please don't beat yourself up over 30%. That's awesome if you can get to that. If you can't get to 30% or you're trying to grow that, take a look at your subject lines. Subject lines are so important. It determines whether we are going to open an email or not. And think about what you click on when you get an email. What makes you click on it? What makes you open it? Look at the subject line. Look and think to yourself, ask yourself, why did I open this email and not the one that they sent me the last time? If I send an email and I ask, will I see you Friday? Friday for all my email subscribers, or Thursday, it depends. All of my email subscribers, I offer a monthly one-on-one coaching, or I'm sorry, group coaching session where I go live and answer all their questions. So if I send an email and say, will I see you on Friday? Now, if you've been part of my list, then you probably know that that means that there's open office hours. But if you're not, then you're going to be like, wait a minute, what's happening Friday? And you'll be more likely to open it. So here are some general rule of thumbs. First off, give them what they want. You already know what their problem is, what their biggest struggle is. You have the solution. Give them what they want. You also have that freebie that they've requested. Make that immediate and get that over to them. Connect with them. When you're writing those emails, it's a little bit different if you are your own personal brand, but speak the brand's voice. If you are a solopreneur, it's a little easier because you can speak the exact way that you speak. A business that's a little bit larger, you've got to speak in that brand's voice, which might have more of a professional tone, as opposed to, if you get my emails, I'm going to talk to you the same way I'm talking right now. You'll hear my voice in those emails, but connect with them. Let them know a little bit about you and let them know that you understand their problem and that you have the solution, and get to know them. Encourage them to email you back. Tell them about you. I guess I have to get a little bit ahead of myself. Give them a call to action. Every single email, give them a call to action. But again, that doesn't mean sell every email. We're tired of being sold to, so just think of other things other than selling. Definitely sell. Don't give up on that. You want to incorporate that as well, but always have some sort of call to action. And keep these things in mind. First off, be true to who you are. Be authentic. If you're a business, be authentic to that brand's voice. That's really important. Be consistent with that. Be personable. You are a person on the other end. Keep it warm. Let them get to know who you are. Let them get to know who your business is. Know their pain and let them know that you understand what those pain points are, and don't be afraid to provide them with a solution. Help them, because that's why they're subscribing to you. Include that call to action on every email, and always, always, always bring value. That's the reason people say subscribe to your email list, is because they're getting value out of it in one way. So make sure that every email is value. I can't believe I did this in 30 minutes. Any questions?
Great job, Deanna. Wonderful information. We did have a question,
Okay,
and one of
great.
the attendees would like to know if they're able to receive a copy of your slides.
Yes.
And just so you know, in participating today, this was recorded, and a copy of the recording will also be sent to you, as well as being in attendance. And also Deanna's contact information will be included in that as well. Very interested in joining your Friday group. Sounds fun. So we'll be able to connect more with Deanna in the future. And food for thought, Deanna is originally from Ohio, and she has been able to venture out, and we're excited to know that a fellow Buckeye is online with us today, and we will be collaborating with Deanna further in the future. But thank you for being here today, Deanna. We do have some questions in the chat box, so I'm going to go ahead and ask those of you. And one question is, how often do you send emails?
How often do I send emails?
Yes.
In general? So that's a great question. And a lot of people want to know, how often should you send an email? I consistently send once a week, but the answer to that is send what you can commit to. Now, what that means is if you can send an email once a week, send it once a week. If you want to send it once a month, send it once a month. Every business is a little bit different. A nonprofit may not do weekly, they may do once a month. Somebody who has a service or a product who, like, I share information and there's so much information to share, so it's easy to do once a week for me. Sometimes I'll share a little bit more if I'm running a campaign, and that, what I mean by that is if I have a workshop coming up, you may get more emails from me about the workshop, and that will be in addition to the once a week. But do what you can commit to, whatever that looks like. Don't overwhelm yourself. If it's every other week, then do it every other week. You might want to try A/B testing and maybe do, 3 months once a week, 3 months every other week, and just test the results to see who opens and who's clicking, if there is a difference, if there isn't, and how you feel, and then incorporate that. So that's a great question.
Well, thank you, Deanna. Let's see are there any other questions before we complete this session? For those of you that do use the constant contact, Deanna just mentioned the A and B testing, which does work wonderfully. I use it often. And also she had mentioned earlier, and make sure you choose your subject lines appropriately. Sometimes we get stumped, and constant contact does have that availability, like where they can give you suggestions, and it might not be something that you want to actually use, but could give you more ideas on what types of subject lines you can use. And as a chamber member, if you would like to have constant contact, we do offer a 20% discount. So you're welcome to sign up and start using that if you don't have a CRM currently that you're using. Thank you,
I have
Deanna.
another cheat that I can send to you.
No, that's awesome. We love cheats.
So there is another cheat, and it's Jasper, and it is AI. Okay, you're familiar with it?
I am, but that doesn't mean everybody else is.
Okay, so Jasper is artificial intelligence, and you can use it for a number of things. One is subject lines. You can use it to create social media posts. You can use it to create blog posts or ebooks, like you name it, and you put in some key verbiage and it will spit out some solutions. Now, I do want to tell you, you want to make sure that you check it, because it is artificial intelligence. So not everything does make sense, but 90% of the time, there's some really cool ideas, or at least it triggers something else when it comes to like what goes into a good subject line.
That's awesome. Thank you for that tidbit, because most people don't know unless they're in it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. I've used that and it does help. And you're right, you do need to check it, because sometimes it can come out a little wonky, kind of like, Google or Siri telling you to turn this way and you're supposed to go the other way. So if you do use it, make sure you do check it like Deanna had suggested. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Deanna. Everybody appreciates your intellect and your tidbits, and we appreciate you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and we will follow up with an email and also the video as well. So thank you for joining Chamber University with the Lime Island County Chamber of Commerce, brought to you by Shakely, and everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.